What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so in this particular video, I want to speak for the real Laker fans out there who are sick and tired of having their franchise hijacked by the supreme prima donna of our era, of our times, I should say. Never have we ever had a modern major sports athlete this narcissistic, this self-entitled, this self-absorbed, this self-involved, this self-important as LeBron Ramon James. It is totally about him and only him. He interjects himself into every conversation. He's obsessed with people calling him the best. You must sate his appetite for egomania. Narcissism is not the right term anymore. He's a megalomaniac. His ego is the size of Jupiter. There's no compliment this man will duck, but just the smallest hint of criticism will send him into furious anger and contempt. To the point where he will have his flunkies try to silence you because he doesn't want to hear the truth. He'd rather live in his lies, live with his lies. And to this, I say to the real Laker fans out there, I have your back and you have my sympathies. I thought that this might be the end for LeBron James in LA. I'm not sure now. I'm seeing certain things. I don't know how true they are. I don't know. Apparently, the rumor is that many of the club, on the Lakers club, are not fond of LeBron's pick. I'll put it like that. I saw a figure of $100 million proposed offer to Dan Hurley. I hope he takes it, and I wish him well. Anything to get that cretin off that team is a boon for real Laker fans. Laker fans are used to, look, don't get me wrong, Laker fans know that stars will be stars. Magic Johnson could be a bit of a prima donna at times. There are times when, look, especially when they're young, the fame can go to their head. With the Kobe's head for a while, Shaq's, Magic's, Kareem's. You go deal with egos. All that's part of it, yes. But not to this extent. Not with what this guy is doing. It's all about him. He's the antithesis of what teamwork is about. And this guy, nearly age 40, still wants the team to revolve around him from an offensive standpoint, while he gets to stand around on defense like a statue with his arms locked in place rather femininely like a velociraptor on defense and point to others to guard men or be in position where he's supposed to be. And then people who he don't guard, he misses defensive assignments. He misses box outs. He looks at others. That's the extent of his egomaniac or egomania. See, a supreme egomaniac like him, a person who thinks himself as a deity, a god, it could never be his fault because he's not a mere mortal. So it has to be your fault. Matter of fact, it's getting to a point where He's doing it out of habit because he's never been checked on it. And if you check him, like Kyle Kuzma did a couple years ago, then off you go. But now, the tide is turning, man. The tide is turning. There are new stars. There's new sheriffs in town. This man hasn't won a championship in 4 years, a real championship in 8 years. Don't even get me started on the bubble thing. He hasn't won an MVP award, even though they try to say he's one of the best players. He hasn't sniffed an MVP in over a decade. Over a decade, folks. That's like Kevin Garnett calling himself one of the best players in 2015 when he won his MVP award in 2004. Now, of course, LeBron, quote unquote, is playing on a higher level, but hey, if you're taking 20 shots a game, you should average 20-some points. But real Laker fans are tired of having their franchise completely hijacked by this dude and Klutch. They're used to winning. There was a stretch of 70 years with the Lakers franchise where they only missed the playoffs 5 times. Since Jenny Buss has taken over from her late great father, the great Dr. Jerry Buss, the Lakers have a losing record. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, over the past, since 2013 at least, the Lakers have a worse winning percentage. If I'm not mistaken, they have a worse winning percentage than the Charlotte Hornets. As hard as it is to believe, they have a worse winning percentage, barely, but a worse winning percentage than the Charlotte Hornets. But Michael Jordan catch smoke from fans. But Jenny Buss, who's been the least successful Lakers owner in the history of that franchise, she's totally absolved of criticism. Why? Just look at her. That's your answer. Same reason why Caitlin Clark can turn the ball over constantly, and she doesn't get any Westbrookian tongue lashings or 29% 3-ball quotes from Skip Bayless, because she gets that protection, like Amber Geiger did, who literally took someone's life, and people wanted to give her a hug. Want to give her a hug. Meanwhile, you have some people like Breonna Taylor who was sound asleep. And you have chimpanzees running around here saying that she should have chose a better brand of boyfriend. Well, maybe Amber Geiger should choose a better brand of not being drunk and knowing what goddamn floor she's on. She's on the wrong floor, but nobody else points that out. She was on the wrong floor when she shot that guy, who I think was watching television and eating ice cream. But, more than meets their story, but, it is what it is. The power of forgiveness in that story. Then, don't even get me started on that. This is YouTube. We can't talk about stuff like that. But real Laker fans, man, I feel your pain, man. This has been a proud franchise from the era of George Mikan to Elgin Baylor and Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I'm saying? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Pat Riley, The Lake Show with Nick Van Exel, Sedale Threatt, Vlade Divac, hitting hook shots like Vlade, Cedric Ceballos, Shaq and Kobe, Shaq and Gasol. And that's it. Because this has been an absolute shit show over the past few years. If he stays there in LA, if he opts in and stays, does anybody really think they're going to make any noise? No. It's going to be the same thing where prior to the season, people are going to say, oh, this is a year This is one of the deepest Laker teams ever, blah, 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 yaggity schmaggity. And then when they underperform, which they will ultimately do, the tried and true go-to move for LaMania, the LaManiacs out there, he needs more help. Can he just please retire?